Yeah, you hear about them parties? Nah, that wasn't for me. No, sir.
What's that? That's Mauve King?
Niggas feeling marvelous.
You gotta get the shoes though. Y'all know what it is.
Beanie Sigel was the shit.
Yeah, he was fired.
And they would only let Beanie Sigel only sell so many records. This came from an executive. For Benny, they would you couldn't be bigger than Jay-Z on Jay-Z's label.
The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, alleges that rapper Jay-Z, along with Diddy, indecently assaulted her at a New York house party in the year 2000 following the MTV Video Music Awards.
Holmes attended the award show with his then girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez.
So there's been a lot of talk lately that Diddy is most likely facing life in prison. And now rumors are flying that he's trying to cut a deal with the feds by snitching and giving up names in exchange for a lighter sentence. And we're not talking about some small-time players here. Insiders are saying he's bringing up some heavyweights, including his longtime friend Jay-Z, allegedly. And now Beanie Sigel is adding his 2 cents, and he's saying Jay better run while there's still time. Apparently, Beanie is convinced that Diddy has some major dirt on Jay that goes back to the 90s. And it sounds like he's saying that things behind the scenes are way worse than we thought. So what exactly does Beanie know about Jay and Diddy's relationship? And is Diddy really about to fold and snitch on everybody? Let's get into it. So there's a lot of noise right now about Diddy possibly flipping, and it looks like the pressure is getting real. Insiders are saying Diddy is looking at serious time, potentially life. And in situations like that, even the most powerful start to crack. So from what we're hearing, Diddy isn't going down alone. He's allegedly ready to start naming names, and not just any names, but none other than Jay-Z. But this isn't coming out of nowhere. Remember last year when Diddy's son Christian dropped that diss track, Pick a Side, and basically warned his dad's celebrity friends that if they didn't come out and show support, there would be consequences? Well, not only did Jay-Z fail to show any support for Diddy, but he actually got his lawyer, Alex Spiro, to publicly say that Jay and Diddy were never even friends.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that case. And there's nothing more to say.
So allegedly, Diddy lost it when he saw this, and now multiple sources close to the situation are saying Diddy has had enough and is preparing to do whatever it takes to save himself, even if that means exposing Jay-Z's darkest secrets. Now, here's where Beanie Sigel comes into the picture, and why his warning to Jay-Z actually makes a lot of sense. Beanie was one of Jay's most loyal soldiers, and during the Rockefeller era, he put in serious work, both in the booth and in the streets. He stayed loyal even when it cost him his freedom. But when the legal pressures came down on Beanie, Jay-Z didn't back him. So fast forward to now with Diddy facing possible life in prison, and Jay-Z is once again nowhere to be seen. Now remember that Jay and Diddy were close friends and associates since the 90s, which means Diddy would have had a front row seat to a lot of what went down behind closed doors at Rockefeller and later Roc Nation. And that includes business deals, street connections, and who got protected when the feds started circling. So if Diddy is really snitching, he could be exposing how Jay-Z stayed clean while letting people like Beanie take the fall. That would not only blow up Jay's image, but it would confirm everything Beanie's been saying for years. But let me give you some context on Beanie's story. Back in the early 2000s, Beanie wasn't just another rapper on Rockefeller. He was a major player. He helped put the label on the map. He had his own clothing line, state property, and even starred in movies under that brand. So he wasn't just part of the team, he was building an empire with them. But then things started shifting fast. Around 2004, Rockefeller was falling apart, and Jay-Z and Dame Dash were beefing behind the scenes over who was really in charge. Beanie was caught right in the middle, and while he was loyal to both of them, when Jay ended up taking over the label through his new deal with Def Jam, Beanie started getting pushed to the side. Suddenly, he wasn't part of the inner circle anymore. And that's where the whole betrayal angle starts to make sense. Because at the same time all this drama was going down, Beanie got hit with serious federal charges, but Jay didn't step in to help. No support support, no legal backup, nothing. And Beanie felt like he was left out to dry. And for someone who helped build the brand from the ground up, that cut deep.
Right now I'm facing weapons violations, attempted murder. They try and get a boy 20 to 40 years. They came to me with a deal. Their deal was 18 to 36 years. Of course, I turned it down. Thought this was America, people. Guilty until proven innocent, huh?
When Beanie went to jail, he figured his Rockefeller crew, especially Jay-Z, would have his back. But instead, all he got was total silence. And Beanie has said in interviews that he felt completely left out and betrayed by Jay.
You got me. So at that time, when, I'm going to court, and we about to be on tour. We on tour. So
A whole nother tour.
Yeah, we on a whole nother tour. So, I'm going for my bail hearing in the feds. And the judge asked Jay, everybody's saying all these good things and all that. The character witnesses, Dame, and, everybody's saying, and even Jay said a whole lot of good things about me, and the judge was going to let me go, monitor. And she said, would you be willing, and that's the part that people don't have, would you be willing to be responsible for his whereabouts, not be responsible for my actions, just his whereabouts? Would you be willing to do that? Provide us with all the information, saying that he's going to be here, there. And after all that good, he said no. But it was like the way he said it, and he put his head down, he was like, no, I've never been crushed like that ever in my life. Cause I'm like, damn, this is my man, like how you... And I looked at it like, all right, no. What if I had to get the f out of there? I'm in jail, I'm stood tall, all my... But what if I really needed to go? This was going to my mind.
Like, get out of jail, you say?
Bro, I had attempted in the state and the federal government and all this shit. The 40 years is over. This is what I'm facing, 40 years.
Right.
What if in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, what if I really needed to roll? Be on a run and go. Like, I'm from this my man and I love him. If he skipped that, I'm getting my man, I'm getting him out by any means necessary. So for me to look him in his eyes and I'm shackled around the wrist, ankles and everything, and the man was like, oh. Like that fucked me up. It took everything in me not to let one go. That took away a lot of that I thought that we had.
Right.
Like, that's big bro.
On the other hand, Dame Dash was there for Beanie every step of the way, showing up at trial and making sure everyone knew he wasn't alone.
Drove up here at 5 in the morning, caught a flat.
We caught a flat in Dame's van on the turnpike.
We gotta wait for the spare to come.
We're running a little late. And I gotta get suited up, booted up. And he is our brother, so we will be there to support him. Because at the Rock, we are a family.
And while Beanie was wrapped up in legal battles, Jay was busy dropping the Black album and announcing he was retiring, only to flip on that a few months later. And by 2005, Rockefeller wasn't the force it once was. Jay took the top spot at Def Jam, while Dame and Biggs moved on to other projects. But Beanie was stuck. That year, he dropped his third album, The Becoming, a strong project he mostly recorded while dealing with his court case. But no matter how good it was, it didn't get the support it needed, and Jay wasn't even making Beanie a priority. Beanie has since dropped hints in interviews accused that he was being sidelined, and he even said that Jay blocked him from chasing other opportunities, keeping him tied to Rockefeller, but never really backing him or pushing his career forward. Then in 2009, things really blew up when Beanie dropped What You Talking About, a diss track that was clearly aimed at Jay-Z. And Beanie didn't hold anything back either. He called Jay out for being fake and selfish, saying Jay used him for street cred and then threw him away when he wasn't useful anymore.
The question is, did Jay really call up them people? Just need to know to add them to the infested extermination list.
Listen, before I even got there to the building, you gotta understand this. It's all documented. This year's Powerhouse, Jay came last year. In the Philadelphia Daily News, the day after the Powerhouse, it had an article. And I didn't even go to the Powerhouse last year. It had an article in it. Inside sources say Jay-Z beefs up security and threat that retaliation from Beanie Sigel for dropping him from the label.
This was in the newspaper.
It's in the paper. It's public record. Go. It's $20. You can search it and find it. It's public record. That was last year. So when I'm reading this, like, damn, what the? You know what I mean? Inside sources say.
Right.
Where that come from? I ain't never see the Powerhouse where they got boot cops walking around with K9s and all that shit. Go on the internet, Google it. Bernard Hopkins was there. I didn't even know Bernard was there.
Right.
Go to allhiphop.com. He confirms it.
So there you are, just like the song says.
Yeah, because what happened was, I stood right in the, and because they made sweeps. When I came in the building, and people was going in the back and all that, where the dressing rooms was at, we was standing in the back, me and my peoples or whatever. Bleak come out with 5 bodyguards. What's up, C? No, what's going on? Damn, what's up? What you doing? Who back there, Jay? Come on, let's go back there. And you keep on moving the conversation. You don't want to go back there. Your bodyguard's there, and I don't got no, you know what I mean, to pass. He was like, man, you need to come holler at the big hunk. Man, dude, don't f with me. I ain't going back there. And that's what I told him. Big homie, don't f with me.
As for Jay's response, he acted like it was no big deal. And he blamed Beanie, saying the whole thing was just Beanie refusing to own up to his own problems.
Well, Beanie Sigel is complaining a lot these days.
Well, he has a lot to complain about.
I know.
Not me.
Well, actually, this morning I just got a brand new interview. It's half an hour long, and he's talking basically about you, about the company, about basically how you didn't push him as much as, let's say, 50 Cent pushed some of his boys. How do you feel about that?
Well, Beanie Sigel at the time, and you can look it up if you like, just to be honest, was driving 2 Bentleys. I don't know how. It's impossible to drive 2 cars at one time. With his mama in the sticks and selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more can you do for somebody, at that point. What people choose to do when they attain that type of a success, at some point you have to look in the mirror and look at yourself. Beanie Sigel had a record deal, a record label, and a clothing line. I mean, it never went platinum, ever. I don't know, in the history of rap, has anyone done so much with so little? So I don't even know what more can you do for a person at that point. A record label, a record deal, that's normal. A record label and a clothing line. So if that's not pushing the person, I mean,
But fast forward to now, and it seems like Beanie is ready to admit he made mistakes. But his biggest one was trusting Jay-Z instead of Dame. So Dame recently called out Jay during an interview on The Art of Dialogue, accusing him of tricking Beanie and basically saying Jay deliberately sidelined him and wrecked his career. Dame said he saw Beanie as the future of Rockefeller, someone who could carry the whole legacy forward. But Beanie stayed loyal to Jay, thinking Jay had his back. What he didn't realize was that Jay wasn't just going to leave him hanging. He was allegedly working behind the scenes to keep Beanie blocked from coming back.
Beans was getting ready. We thought he was going to go to jail for a couple years. He was on trial. So I was trying to make 4 albums for him, or 5. I was more bothered when Beans chose to go with Jay. That one hurt. Because I'd done a lot and prepared. I chose State Property over Rockware. And I wanted to just roll out with State Property. But it almost like he tricked Beans to shelf him, and he fucked his life up to me doing that. But I had him, you know what I mean? Like, that was my new Jay.
And then Beanie decided to speak out and pretty much agreed with Dame, admitting he took Dame for granted.
Dame actually came and got me when I got out of prison. And we was on a tour bus and they was interviewing me. And they asked me then and there on a bus. Now I'm just getting out of prison. Like, he at the jail picked me up. And they posed that question that I was, you know, or made the statement that I was going to be with Dame Dash Music Group. And I said then that I didn't want to make that choice between Jay or Dame. I just wanted to stay neutral. I believe if we had those conversations, I believe I would have rolled with Dame. I'd have rocked with Dame. Yeah, if Dame set me down and he had a plan, regardless what the plan was, and mapped it out like this was going to do, the smartest decision at that time for me would have rolled with Dame, because Dame was more accessible than Jay was. Dame was in the office every day. You could talk to Dame, you know what I mean? Dame used to come and chill on the block in South Philly. You know what I mean? Dame pull up in Biggs at Mom Duke's spot. So, yeah, I think if we would have sat and he would have showed me and explained to me, you know, our business plan and what we was going to do, that would have been an easy decision.
Now, when it comes to Jay-Z, Beanie said it definitely felt like there were secret moves being made to keep him from reaching the next level. Things like Jay always dropping his albums right around the same time as Beanie's and only letting Beanie sell so many records. And while Beanie owned up to some of his own mistakes, including his legal issues, he made it clear that Jay's actions weren't just a coincidence.
I don't think one man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like, to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe.
So now with all the rumors flying that Diddy is ready to snitch, fans are starting to connect the dots. Jay-Z's got a long track record of leaving friends hanging when things get real. And maybe, just maybe, karma's finally catching up to him. If Diddy really does start naming names, who knows what else could come out? So, what do you think? Is Jay finally paying the price for those old betrayals? And if Diddy spills all the tea, how deep do you think this whole thing will go? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't miss out on this next video.